Welcome to the Mind Grow Radio Storyteller Series podcast. I am your host, Stephanie Kathan, and today we are joined by the Father of AFFORMATIONS and the mental health coach to the stars, working with Hollywood celebrities, professional athletes. He's also worked with 8-figure company CEOs, top executives, as well as entrepreneurs, appearing on over 1,000 media outlets, including ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, and a contributor to Entrepreneur and Success magazine, and the author of Get Rid of Your Head Trash About Money. Please welcome to the Mind Grow studio, Noah St.John. Welcome, Noah.
Hi, Stephanie. Great to be here with you today.
It's so awesome. I have to tell you, you made this post the other day. I've been following you for years now, since I started this journey. But you made a post the other day about this anniversary that you were celebrating, and it was the 24th anniversary of your discovery of what you call success anorexia. Would you share with us what that discovery looked like for you and how it influenced your journey as an entrepreneur?
Absolutely, yes. I just have to give you a quick background to give you some context for everybody listening to the program. So I grew up poor in a rich neighborhood, and I know that's a total cliche, but it's totally true. I grew up in a little town called Kennebunkport, Maine, which was one of the wealthiest communities in New England, but my family was dirt poor, and I mean that literally, because we lived at the bottom of a dirt road in a drafty, unfinished house that my parents ended up losing to foreclosure. So from a very young age, I was painfully exposed to the gap, the chasm between the haves and the have-nots. The haves was everyone else in the community. The have-nots was my family. And so from a very young age, I hated that life of poverty and fear, lack, not enoughness. That's what I grew up with in my family. But I saw right down the street there was great wealth and abundance. So I said, how the heck do you get from here to there? And, there was no one that could help me. So, you mentioned earlier that, they call me the Father of AFFORMATIONS and the mental health coach to the stars. Another thing that people call me is the nerdiest nerd in the personal growth industry because I'm like the Sheldon Cooper of self-help, because I just, when there's a problem, I just have to fix it. I have to get down to the molecular level like Sheldon did on the Big Bang Theory and, just really solve it. So anyway, I as a kid, I went to the library and just read all these books on self-help and personal growth, Dale Carnegie, Napoleon Hill, Stephen Covey, all the classics. And I really tried to put them to work, but I really couldn't get them to work. And so at the age of 25, I decided to commit suicide because I was just so frustrated and so depressed because I've been trying all these self-help stuff for years and just nothing works. So fast forward now to 1997, and I was in college for the second time. I was a 30-year-old religious studies major, and I attended a seminar on eating disorders. Now, I didn't have an eating disorder, but because one of the things that I had done in my teenage years and early 20s was I was a professional ballet dancer. And in the world of ballet and performing arts, as many people might know, a lot of people unfortunately have eating disorders, anorexia and bulimia. So even though I didn't, I knew a lot of friends who did, a lot of colleagues who, were suffering from that. So I said, well, why not go to the seminar, learn about it, and, just see what happens. Well, what I didn't realize or what I didn't know was going to happen was my whole life changed at that seminar. Because what happened was I realized that even though I wasn't starving myself of food, there was something else that I was starving myself of. And that also millions of people were and are unknowingly starving themselves of, and that is success. In fact, I literally became, on October 20th, 1997, the first person to identify and name this condition that no one had ever talked about before, and I called it success anorexia. And what that means for, everybody listening to this program is that, there are millions and millions of smart, talented, creative, hardworking people, whether they're entrepreneurs or executives. As you mentioned, we work with 7- and 8-figure CEOs, entrepreneurs, professional athletes, Hollywood celebrities, etc., but people who are unknowingly starving themselves of success. And what that looks like, I call it driving down the road of life with one foot on the brake, meaning that you're driving towards your goals and you're doing all these things on the outside, but meanwhile, you also unknowingly have the other foot on the brake. And so therefore, you are actually unknowingly, unwittingly stopping yourself from the success you're capable of. So long story short, what this means for, the folks listening is that, because I became the first person to identify success anorexia, I also became the first and still the only person who actually developed the system to cure success anorexia. And that's one of the reasons, that we've helped our clients make over $2.7 billion over the last quarter century, because we help people literally make more in 12 weeks than they made in the last 12 months, using my formulas.
It's so fascinating. And what you're saying is resonating so strongly with me, because we all kind of suffer from that, don't we? Especially if you're out there trying to make it as an entrepreneur. You really do starve yourself from what you're striving for without really knowing it. That's fascinating. So since that time when you discovered that for yourself, you mentioned that when you were younger you contemplated suicide, but once you discovered this and you started moving forward, did you still ever feel like giving up, like you just didn't know how to achieve what it was that you wanted to achieve? And it seems hard when you're out there as an entrepreneur trying to create something out of nothing or figure out the journey. I feel like sometimes we just feel like giving up because we don't know the things. Like maybe we don't know we're starving ourselves from success.
Exactly right. So you have a lot of questions in there, so I'll try to answer them. So did I feel like giving up? Yeah, tons of times. And the reason is, one of the big reasons is because when I started my company, successclinic.com, in 1997, I was living in a 300 square foot basement apartment. I had $800 to my name and a book on HTML. And that's all I had. I had no money. I had no marketing experience. I had no sales experience. I had no contacts. I had no list. There was no social media, no blogs, no YouTube, no Facebook, none of that stuff. It was over, in fact, my company, believe it or not, is 7 months older than Google. That's how long I've been doing this. There's not many people who've been doing this as long as I have. And so the point of that is that I had nothing. And so what I realized is I don't know the first thing about starting an online business. And so what the heck do I do? So I ended up, just trying to I did hire people. I went to all these different gurus and, invested any money that came in as I was selling things online and writing books and selling books. Any money that came in, I would just reinvest it back in my own education. The problem is that I paid these gurus over $500,000 only to find out they can't teach their way out of a paper bag. They literally suck at teaching. They're great at self-promotion. Hey, look at my helicopter. Look at my Tesla. Look at my car. Look at my whatever. Now, there's nothing wrong with having nice things. We all want nice things, right? But the point is, they truly can't teach at all. In fact, most of what they say just totally doesn't work. But I didn't find this out until spending $500,000. So yeah, it was very frustrating because of that. And so the point is, I really had to mostly figure it out on my own. But one of the reasons that we help entrepreneurs and people, again, make more in 12 weeks than they did in the last 12 months is because being the nerd that I am, I've broken it down to a systematic approach, a system. Because what I realized is success out there, when you look at the guru world, it is driven by personality instead of systems. Now, in other words, you have personality-driven success versus system-driven success. I mean, a personality-driven success, it's not that it's wrong or it's bad. It's just that, what if I don't have that personality? What am I supposed to do, right? And most people don't. Like, I don't. I'm just a nerdy guy. I'm an introvert. I like sitting at home. I love talking to people. I love coaching and teaching and speaking, whether I'm, doing virtual conferences or live events around the world. But yet I'm an introvert. I'm a shy guy, and I'm not going to be here blowing my own horn, even though that's what you have to do, And so the point is, if you don't have that type of personality, which most people don't, it's really, really hard unless you have the right systems in place. So that's why, again, going back, I'd rather brag about my client's success rather than my success, because if it's just one person, who cares? Oh, great, you got a plane, you got a helicopter. I don't care. Have you helped anyone else? And that's the question I think isn't being asked today in today's guru-driven, in this industry.
I so agree with you there, and I really believe that's one of the things that made you stand out for me as I travel my own journey of personal growth is your authenticity. So I want to just appreciate that about you for a moment, because when you show up and you speak, like, you're just so authentic and your information is so matter of fact, and your intent is to help, not to boast. And I really, really like that about you. So thank you for showing up, and especially in my awareness.
Well, that's sweet.
So, do you have any tools that you would like to share from your own personal growth toolbox that you've used to stay on track to kind of empty the head trash out of your way?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's what it's about. It's about tools and systems. I mean, I like to say that building a business is like building a house, right? And when you build a house, you really need three things. You need the right plan, you need the right tools, and you need the right support. As long as you have those three things, you can do it. And so, again, like building a house, you need a plan, a blueprint. And it's funny because my dad built our house that I talked about earlier. Even though we grew up poor, my dad literally just built our house that we grew up in. He drew the blueprint himself. He's not even a trained architect. He's just like this genius guy. And he just said, I know, let's build a house. How hard could it be, right? So he had a good plan. He had the tools, right, to build a house, a hammer, saw, nails, whatever. But see, he was missing the third element, which was the right support. He never had support. He never had support from his family. He didn't have, the resources or whatever. So that's really why, we lost the house. And so that's what I don't want to happen to anybody out there who's working really hard. And so the point is, when we talk about head trash, which is something that, by the way, everyone listening to this program can actually get my new book for free. It's called Get Rid of Your Head Trash About Money. All you have to do is go to sendmeabooknoah.com. Sendmeabooknoah.com, and I will send you a book. It's free. We just ask you to cover the shipping. So again, that's sendmeabooknoah.com, and the book is called Get Rid of Your Head Trash About Money. So head trash is really, it's deeper. It's really another way of saying that you're starving yourself of success. So what I want people to think about is reaching your goals is like driving a car. All right. So there's two scenarios here that people are doing without their knowledge. The first scenario is, imagine if you got in your car, left your driveway, drove around in circles for an hour, and then went back to your house. Now, nobody would do that, right? That sounds stupid. The second scenario is you get in your car, you go to the grocery store, you get in the grocery store, you walk around for an hour, get back in your car, and then you go home. Now, that doesn't make any sense either, right? Those two scenarios don't make any sense. But yet, watch what people are doing in their lives and their business. In the first scenario, you don't have a destination. You don't even know where you're going. So what are you doing? You're just driving around in circles, right? But meanwhile, you're using a lot of time, money, and effort, right? Because it costs you time, it costs you money, gas in your car, and it costs you effort. You're driving around, but you don't even know where you're going. So that's the first problem. The second problem is you know where you're going. You have a destination. Okay, I'm going to the grocery store, but you don't know why, right? Nobody goes to the grocery store and says, hey, I'll just walk around for an hour and then go back to my car and go home. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. And yet people are doing it in their lives and their businesses. What are you doing? Oh, well, I want more money. Okay, here's $5. Go away. No, I mean, that's not going to work, right? We got to be a lot clearer about that, right? And so that's what for everybody listening to the program, I want you to realize, well, wait a minute. Do I know where I'm going? Do I know what I want? Do I know why I'm going there? You see, these are like, they seem so simple, and they are simple. And that's what, it's funny because, one of my clients years ago said, wow, Noah, I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on all these gurus out there, similar to me, not as much money as I spent, but anyway, he spent lots of money. And he goes, no, you're like the easy button. And I'm like, well, thank you. I appreciate that. In fact, I got myself an easy button here on my desk. Oh, man, the batteries ran out. It's supposed to say that was easy. Oh, well. Anyway, you missed your cue, buddy. Sorry, I've got to replace the battery. Anyway, that was easy. The point is, that's the thing. It doesn't have to be so hard. In fact, there's an old saying in business, which is simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication. So when you find something that's simple, you can scale it. Complexity doesn't scale. And so for those of you listening who are thinking, man, you're following all these gurus. I call it guru hopping, right? You go from one guru to the next, and it's like, oh my God, it's just overwhelming. And so believe me, I've done it too, and it's awful. And you know what? Not only do they suck at teaching, they suck your confidence. They suck your money, of course, and then they suck your time. And see, time is the one resource that can never be replaced, right? You can replace the money, you can replace the confidence. I mean, hopefully, eventually, and of course, you can when you have the right plan, the right tools, and the right support. And that's what we give to our clients. So, again, there's a million things we could talk about, but I guess I want people to realize. Let's start with simple. Keep it simple. Number one, do I know where I'm going? Number two, do I know why I want to get there? And then number three, do I have the right plan? Do I have the right tools? And do I have the right support? That third one, having the right support, that's why you got to have, a coach, a mentor. If you want to make more in the next 12 weeks than it did in the last 12 months, and who wouldn't, right? But you can't just say it. Oh, I'm going to do it. Well, okay, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to think positive. Great. Let me know how that goes. I mean, come on. I mean, I'm not saying don't think positive. I'm saying that's not enough. You got to
Right.
put the things into place.
Yes, and support is truly a very important piece of that. I've tried in the beginning to do it all myself. I thought I could just manage it, but that isn't true. Not true.
Well, I mean, everybody when we're starting out, I mean, like I told you, where I was, in the 300 square foot basement apartment with $800 in a book on HTML. So I mean, it's not like I could go hire people or whatever. I didn't have any money. I didn't have any resources. And so at the beginning of any venture, yes, it's you, it's your sweat, it's your blood, sweat, and tears, and you got to do that. And there were a lot of tears, that's for sure. Maybe not blood, but certainly a lot of tears and a lot of sweat at the beginning. And so, but we need to reach a point where, okay, now if I want to scale this thing, then I can't do everything. And that's why, for example, like we have a done for you service. Like for example, people want to build their sales funnels. And they go, well, where do I start? Well, if you've got the time, then you do this, this, and this. If you've got the money and you want to just shave time off, then, you can hire our agency and we build that funnel for you. We call it the done for you service. And so, but you've got there's always that constant battle between time and money. You usually have to trade one for the other. And so that's a judgment call that, we all have to make as entrepreneurs.
What is the best piece of advice you'd give to somebody who might be just starting out on this journey, really realizing they suck as an employee, they don't want to live life at the 9-to-5 grind, and they just want to spark something of their own? What do you got?
Yeah, absolutely. It really comes down to three things. Let's back up a little bit. There's two things, and then there's three things. So the two things, and the reason that we help our clients make more in 12 weeks than in the last 12 months is we focus on two things, which is inner game and outer game. Okay, I talk about that in the book and Get Rid of Your Trash About Money. I talk about it in everything that I do. So inner game is everything that happens between your ears that you can't see directly, but it affects everything that you do. So for example, when I'm speaking at live events or virtual conferences or private workshops for my clients, one of the things I'll ask my audiences is, what is one area of your life where your beliefs don't affect you? And people go, and I go, exactly. There's no place your beliefs don't affect you, right? Your beliefs affect everything: your health, your wealth, your finances, your business, your social life, your relationships, your well-being, et cetera, right? There's literally no place where your beliefs don't affect you. But here's the thing: you can't see a belief. You can only see the effects of a belief, right? So that's why we call it the inner game, because it happens between your ears, and yet it affects everything. On the other hand, you can't just treat it as one thing, because you can be doing really well in one area of your life and maybe stuck or struggling in another. For example, maybe your business is going well, but your health is suffering, or vice versa. Maybe your health is good, but your business isn't where you want it to be. You see what I mean? So it's not cookie cutter, one size fits all. That's why, in our coaching programs, it's customized. I mean, for every person, it's very individual. Even though, we're using the same formulas, we still, of course, have to customize it, individualize for every person, right? And so that's the inner game. And then you also have your outer game. You have to look at your outer game. Now, your outer game, when we're talking about building your online business, really comes down to these three elements. And that is offers, funnels, and traffic. OFT, right? That's all you need to think about, right? Again, simple. Keep it simple, right? And so what are your core offers? How are you making money? I'll give you an example. I have people who come up to me at my, we do seminars, whether they're virtual or they're live, and people come in and say, hey, Noah, I paid this guru all this money, and he said to start doing Facebook ads. And I spent $10,000 on Facebook ads, and I didn't make any money. And I said, well, okay. I've only heard that a million times. So let me ask you, when you did these Facebook ads, and you spent all that money, what were you driving people to? And they say, well, I was driving them to, like my Facebook page. And I said, okay, now how much money can you get for a like? And the answer is, of course, nothing. I mean, you can't take a like to the bank and go, hey, I got 10,000 likes. I'll pay my mortgage this month. They go, we don't care. We want the thing called money last time we checked. So that doesn't work. You see what I mean? So it's a bogus plan. It doesn't work, right? Now, it works if you have an offer that's converting. So that can work, but that's like the 92nd thing you need to do, right? It's like way down the road. The first thing you need to do is have an offer that converts and makes you the thing called money, right? And then you have to have funnels, which all a funnel is a way to collect money on the internet. That's all it is. So it doesn't have to be this awful, again, you've got so many confusing messages out there, all these gurus out there and whatever. So that's all a funnel is. It's a way to collect money, right, on the internet. And then traffic. That's showing people, hello, I'm here. Here's my thing. You want it? That's kind of it. I mean, that's basically it, right? So an offer is what are you selling? A funnel is how you sell it. And traffic is who the heck are you getting in front of the thing to sell the thing? So that's the outer game, okay? But here's what's so funny is, I've mentioned that, we've helped our clients make billions, literally over $2 billion over the last quarter century. But what's hilarious, and people literally, a lot of people don't believe this, 90% of that money came from the inner game. Inner game, meaning me helping my clients, teaching them my methods, my formulas, my strategies to master your inner game. See, everybody out there is focused on outer game, and it's not that it's wrong, right? But think about the house again. I use the house analogy a lot. Think about your house. What is your house? Your house is two things. It's structure and systems. Well, that's exactly like saying inner game and outer game, because the structure of a house is what you see. That's the outer game, right? You look at a house. And you go, that's a house. That's it's a ranch. It's a Victorian. It's a mansion. It's a cottage. Whatever it is, right? That's what you see. But what's on the inside of a house is what makes it livable, makes it a home. Imagine if you built a house and you forgot to put the electricity in. Oops. Kind of cold in there, isn't it? It's like, oh, shoot. Oh, did we need electricity? Yeah, that would be good. Right? And see, that's what inner game is to the human, right? To us. And so 90% of success, and again, a lot of people don't believe this, but, you can believe whatever you want. I mean, I've been doing this for longer than almost anybody out there, and that's what we've seen. I mean, I could give you so many stories. You can go to our website and just see. Just, again, go to Send Me a Book, Noah, or go to noahstjohn.com, and you can just see the hundreds and hundreds of stories. And 90% of it is based on inner game mastery. Not that you need to ignore the outer game, but you got to focus first on the inner game.
Wow, you have shared some magnificent nuggets with us this morning. I'm so full of appreciation for that. Our time flies by. Like talking to you.
Yes.
Woo, it went by really fast. You know what? I know you just laid out your website again, but please let people know. Are you on Instagram, on Twitter? Where do you hang out most? Where can they find you and tune into your brilliance?
YouTube is the best. I'm on all social media. Just search Noah St. John. I've got kind of a unique name, so that's nice. So anything that says Noah St. John is usually me. But YouTube is my favorite. And you can go to watchnoahtv.com, watchnoahtv.com. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. We release new videos every week, trainings on how to make more in the next 12 weeks than you did in the last 12 months, and literally by focusing on your inner game and your outer game. But we do talk about inner game a lot for that reason that I mentioned a moment ago. So, yeah, watchnoahtv.com, and then you can find me on all social media. And, again, the website is just my name, noahstjohn.com. We do have a program called the 12-Week Breakthrough. You can go to 12weekbreakthrough.com and watch some training that I did on that. That's a free training that I did, 12weekbreakthrough.com. And, that's pretty much it.
Thank you so much. Everybody, please tune into Noah. He's so amazing. He's got so many gems to share. And please go get his book. Just go to sendmeabooknoah.com, and he'll send you a copy of his book. Thank you so much, Noah St. John, for joining us today. My name is Stephanie Kathan. I am the host of the Mind Grow Radio podcast. I want to thank the listeners for joining us today and tuning in with us. And until we meet again, keep shining in your brilliance. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.